Okay, today is the last workshop on PLS analysis. We're going to cover very much on the nonlinear PLS regression methods. So we're going to cover the moderators, mediators, and we lump them both into a simultaneous moderator and mediator analysis. All right, so again, just to recap back what we have done in the past 2 weeks. Okay, SAM process consists of 2 steps. Okay, the first one, it is to ensure that your measurement models they all meet the minimum thresholds. Like I shared with you guys last week, in fact, 2 weeks ago. Smart PLS, okay, I think most of you are going to use Smart PLS because it's widely available. Although the professionals versions, you have to pay for that, but many students actually opt for the 30 days trials. So again, regardless of which mode that you are getting in, the Smart PLS3, just to be frank with you, a new version of Smart PLS4 is coming very soon. I think the owner of Smart PLS, they have launched the Smart PLS4. I think it is available, but many still using Smart PLS3. It's still good tools for you to do your analysis, especially for your research work. But just to recap back what I have advised to students, research students, Smart PLS3 is not like the Smart PLS2. Just to let you know, maybe many of you thinks that Smart PLS is easy. Well, it is easy in comparisons to MS, the covariant SAM. But to get a model fit, okay, a measurement model nowadays using Smart PLS3, it's require a little bit more works to do. Why do I say that? Like I showed to you guys last week, most likely, okay, if your data are not, I'm not saying it's not good. What I'm saying is that, you know, when it comes to collecting data in research work, especially on a PhD or bioresearch or even MECM or MBA, data's collection is very important. It is to ensure that you get answer from the right respondents. Respondents that willingly to give the opinion. If you go for consumers, they give you the opinions in the best possible, accurate as possible. But if you're getting from respondents that are not willingly to share their opinion for whatever reason, you are more likely going to get a distort or not good data, and that data will reflect in your analysis. And as you are probably aware, or if you don't, then probably now you do, all these analyses are based on theories. Okay, the theories are the one that guide us to test or to examine the relationship that you intend to hypothesize. And therefore, the data that you are collecting from your respondents will reflect back whether they are actually giving you, not say the correct one, but to the best possible knowledge of whatever scope of studies that you are investigating. Having said that, okay, it reflects back to your measurement models. In PLS2, okay, it is quite, I can straight away say it is quite easy to get your measurement models with a minimum or above the threshold values. But now with PLS3, the latest version, not say the latest version, the latest version will be PLS4 very soon. But I assume that the latest version that most of you are going to use are the PLS3, the one that I'm using it right now. The measurement models, okay, you have to click the factors, okay, instead of the path. And it's not easy, and that's the reason why, if you were with me last week, some of the models that I showed to you, they were just not meeting the minimum thresholds. I purposely created a data where to show to the students that you are more likely going to have this kind of output or this kind of result, and what are you going to do about it? So it reflects back to what I have shared with you. It is the data, it is the theories that you have to be very careful, because you may end up not getting what it's supposed to be. So enough on that things, okay? The measurement models, you need to conduct the conversion with validity. That is the factor loadings. The minimum threshold values is 0.7 and above. But of course, if you refer to the literatures like Nunalis and 1978, okay, and few more, okay, then they accept those loadings values below 7, probably somewhere 0.6, 0.5, as long as significant. You can run the bootstrapping and then look at it whether they are significant or not, the loadings values. If it is significant, you can keep them, but of course, in your write-up, in your thesis, acknowledge that. Okay, they are slightly low, but you intend to keep the indicators, the questionnaires. You need to keep them because you think it is important. You can, because you are the researchers. You feel that you should keep them as long as you report what have you done. So yeah, okay, not necessarily has to be 0.7. Unlike the covariant methods, that is MS, if you have below 0.7 factor loadings values, you're more likely not going to get a model fit indexes. So PLS still allow you to retain those indicators with below 0.7 factor loadings values. It still can. And the next one, okay, is the variance extracted. This is the AVE, the average variance extracted. The minimum is 0.5. You have to, because that is the criteria. If it's below 0.5, then that's what the literature says. Okay, some of the statistical gurus. Okay, some of you probably get somewhere around 0.489, 0.478. Okay, if you round it into 2 decimals, it will come out to be 0.5. That's perfectly fine. Okay, it can be done. Okay, but ensure that you report that in a 3 decimals, 3 digits. Okay, then you have the reliability test, the composite and the alpha. Both are 0.7. Okay, again, alpha. Some literatures allow you to retain with a slightly lower alpha value, 0.6 probably. Yeah, it allow you, as long as you code the reference indicates that it's meeting the satisfactory level, it should be fine. I'm sharing you this for those who may have some, values that not even reaching 0.7, probably somewhere around 0.6, 0.5 something, and then you have done whatever that's need to do to increase, to delete one of the item, but somehow the alpha will not the alpha value will not going up 0.7, so you retain 0.6 plus. It still can, okay, in a satisfactory level, okay, you can report that. And of course, there are discriminant validities. In previous PLS, okay, we only report the square root of the AVE in comparisons to the correlations value of the indicators and to ensure that they are lower than the square root of AVE. But now with the PLS3, you also should look on the HTMT's values to ensure that none of the values overshoot a value of 1. As long as below 1, you are not violating the discriminant validity issues. And of course, I put in number 3, that is the model fit. This is, I believe that many of you are in the meetings now, in the Google Meets now, are PhD students or bioresearch students. If you are using Smart PLS3, or probably above, maybe in a later stage you are planning to use PLS4. I haven't looked at PLS4 yet, but I know it's already available. You gotta be mindful here when it comes to model fit. I know that there are some disagreements among researchers saying that Smart PLS is not it's a variant based. It is not actually there to test model. Variant based, it is more on the predictive side. In comparisons to the CB-SAM, that is the covariant SAM, which are perfectly fit for model testing, and therefore they do have the model fit. But again, I wouldn't ask you to skip the model fit, especially those who are doing PhD or master by research, or probably some of the lecturers. Maybe there are some lecturers who are intends to write up papers and intends to publish your paper in any of the good journals. Some of the reviewer, they want you to have to report the model fit simply because of the Smart PLS3. They do have that readily available to ensure or to check your model fit, and they want you to report that. So again, so that is my sharing with you all. Okay, before we actually goes to the second step, that is to test the structural models. It is to ensure that your measurement models perfectly meet the minimum thresholds. Then you are fine. Okay, your examiners will not ask you more or query or questions about your models, as long as once you pass the first step. All right, are we clear on that things? Hello, are you all okay on the introductions? Okay, because it's the last workshop, so I have to really share with you all to ensure that before you test your structural models, you have to know the reason behind it. What is it about doing to make your measurement models fit, or your model fit first? You are using Smart PLS or PLS in general. Are we clear on that? Are we okay? Is there any questions on that before we actually start on the drawing stuff? Okay, and do some analysis. Are we good in that? Come on, I need some feedback. Don't just keep quiet. You need to unmute, then you can talk to me, or you can just put it in under the chat settings. I already have this, so I'm just gonna delete first, and then you're gonna start all over again, so that you all see my PLS, Smart PLS. Have you all seen that? You need to speak up because I can't see the chat setting section. Just speak up. Anyone will do. Okay. Right. Let's. Okay. So, all right. If you look on my left corner here, I have the workshop 2 and workshop 3. So these are the one that I gonna cover today. Basically, they are the same. Just gonna, okay, if I click both, okay, they are the same data, okay? I'm just gonna use the same data. It's not a perfect data. There are some issues on the data, but I prefer to be that way because that's basically most likely many of you are going to see in your own analysis, because there's no point to show you a perfect data and then later on when you do it on your own, you're gonna have you're facing some sort of totally different from what my output looked like. You see, so it is better to be real. It is better to be to be as normal as possible. I mean, I'm not saying that you are not going to get a good data. I'm not saying that, okay? You may get a good data. With God willing, hopefully you'll get a good one. But just going to show it to you. The most important thing is that you know the procedures. That's the most important things. With regards to the result, that is secondary. For me, it is secondary. It is not something that of course, a good result will yield good findings and discussion. But what I'm saying is, for the sake of this workshop, okay, we're gonna just cover something that most likely what's gonna happen. Right. So, workshop 3. So we're gonna create some latent variables. I believe that most of you already know this. So I'm just gonna click here. Okay, I'm going to go very quickly here. If you recall back my first slides, okay, I'm going to draw the whole structural model, and I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to delete some of the latent variables. And then when I want to get back the whole structural models, I'm just going to reopen back, so I don't have to redo it, draw again and again and again, because it's gonna save time. But this is what you're supposed to do. Okay, we have the DV IV, we have the DV, and I know my DV has consists of 4 dimensionals. Yeah, all right, and then I have the mediators with with a second order construct as well. Okay, and then I have my moderator with 3 dimensionals. Concept 3-dimensional. Yeah. Then we are done. All right. So I'm gonna select this. Just gonna arrange a little bit more so it will not look messy. All right. So let's do some arrangement here. Okay. So it will look presentable. So just to give you some inside. Okay, it is good that you draw your tables, okay, or your diagram, whatever you call it. Okay, try to make it presentable as possible, because this will reflect to your works. Okay, because this thing you can actually copy it and paste it in your, this is in your Words, Microsoft Words, and it will look nice. Okay, it will look nice, and the examiner will look impressive about your work. You can choose any colors if you want to. You can make it look, look nice, as long as not too colorful. Okay, so there you go. We all have here. Then I'm gonna go to a very fast one, because this is my work. Then I know what will be the name of the Latent variables. So, okay, let's rename these things. Okay, this is innovations, orientations. Okay, all right, you all know that. Okay, what we do, you just right click here, then you can see there's some tables open and rename. There you go. And then this one is concept development. Okay, there you go. Then here is idea generations. Yeah, and here is business analysis. Here is testing and design. Here is marketing. Right, okay. And this one is marketing. Orientations. And here is, I put in a short form, environmentals, external environmentals factors. Okay, so we have that. Yes. First one is the market conditions. Let's see, here is technology. Here is food trends. Right. Okay. Just you put an arrow. I'll briefly explain to you why my structural models are such like this. Okay. Let's split. This is my IV. This is my DV. Okay. This is my linear relationship. Okay. Linear models. Okay. And I have reflective models, not formative. Okay, there you go. Right, and this is my moderators. So it's gonna connect it just like this, and with a reflective of market conditions, technologies, and food trends. And this is my mediators. I'm just gonna throw it like this, right? And okay, with the two latent variables. So what are they? These are responsive orientations. This is proactive orientations. Okay, so there you go. But they are still red colors because I have not bring the indicators to their respective latent variables. So let's do it. Okay, so this is MC1. I know this is MC1. Market conditions. Then there's another one here. There you go. Okay, and then I know that this tech 1 and tech 2 are technologies. There you go. Then the food trends. Okay, so okay, so you can actually arrange later on. I will do some arrangement later, but let's give the indicators to their respective latent variables first. Right, so we have the responsive. Okay, these are responsive orientations, and there's we have another one here. Okay. Now we have the proactive. There you go. Then we have the innovations. Okay. All right. So there you go. Let's let them the blue colors and red colors. So we are getting in there. Okay, let's scroll down. What more can? Okay, we have the idea. Go. Business. We have the pre. Testing. Okay, then we have the business analysis and another business analysis. Yeah. All right, so I've done it. So let's do some arrangement. So it will look nice. So you can always use the the template here. Okay, there you go. Okay. Yeah, probably we'll put it down. Yeah, okay. All right, put it down. We're just gonna leave it like this for this one. Okay, and okay. Yeah, just gonna leave it like this. You can actually put this thing on top, okay, if you want to. Okay, so it will look nice later on once you copy that diagram and then put it in your thesis, in your content. Okay, you can put it like this. You can put it like this. Okay, it will look nice. Okay, so we're just gonna keep it like this. Yeah, it looks better like this. So do some really bit of arrangement. Okay, so you'll see push down here a little bit. Okay, and then this one maybe a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Right. So we have done that, but you still have a red color here. What is that? Okay, why? Because these are consists of a second order construct. Okay, this is the first one, and there's the second one. So all those indicators, okay, you need to put it in here in the latent variables because there is no indicator. So this is no indicators in smart PLS. Okay, you can repeated manifest variables where all those indicators, okay, this actually representing the concept development, but it's just that in theory, okay, in theory is that they are broken down into several components because these are the stages of concept development. First, it has to come from ideas first. Then you run a business analysis. What are the idea? If it's good, you retain them, and then you conduct some testing and design. You're commissioning the testing in-house. Once you test them, you design them, then only you conduct a pre-marketing to ensure that whatever ideas that you're bringing in in the companies, or probably could be products, or it could be, in this case, are manual, okay, because it is actually food service. So they conduct a pre-marketing. So of course, there are some other stages here, but all these 4 components I have already done a principal component analysis in my factor analysis in SPSS. So I finally, towards the end, I only get, I mean, it's a long story, so I'm not going to touch on that things, but I were able to get 4 components that are presenting concept development. So because of that, in Smart PLS, in order this thing to work, okay, all the indicators you need to put it in inside the concept development. So let's do it. Okay. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So all those indicators of their respective latent variables, we already inserted in the main one. Okay, this is the main construct, and this is the multiple dimensions of concept development. So we can hide this, hide indicators. Okay, so you will not see it, but you notice that there are some indicators there because there is a sign, plus sign here. All right, it will look nice. It will not look messy if you don't hide them. So you have to do it. The same thing goes to the market orientations. Okay, in theory, market orientation, it consists of 2 components that are responsive. Responsive is basically more on customers orientations. You are actually conducting your marketing based on consumers. Whereas on proactive, in theoretically, you are not based on consumers, but you are actually come out your own marketings strategies to reaching your whatever the market is. So you are being proactive. Okay, you're not being responsive. Your responsive is your response based on your customer, whatever the customer asks for, and then you just follow. So, right, that's the theory. So that's the reason why we have 2 dimensions. All right, so let's get those indicators. Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, I think that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. All right, there you go. I'm gonna hide this. Then I'm gonna do same thing with the external factor, external environmental factors. In these studies, okay, I argues that the external environmental factors is depending on your market conditions, whether it is saturated, whether it's already reaching to a maturity level. Okay, so the conditions of the market is so very important that affect or influence on product innovations. And of course, technology is one of them as well. And in this regard, more specifically on my studies, it's about food trends. Trends in food developments has to be considered, and that's part of the externals, environmental factors. Right, so you have some idea what is it about. So let's make these things. Okay, there you go. Pop that in and hide this. There you go. They all turn into blues now. Blue colors. What does that blue colors means? It means that you are ready to run your models. If it's turned red, then there's something wrong there. Then you have to recheck. So ensure that all they are blues. So now you have done it. Okay. Remember I talked to you guys last week. Okay. Some of the models here, especially in the linear one, I already run the factor analysis. Okay, so this data I've already run factor analysis in SPSS. Okay, and that's the reason why you see some of the items here. This one is, well, wait a minute, the pre, I think there's a 3 pre, I think. Yeah, there you go. That's another one. Okay, let's look at the inside here, see whether the pre is there, pre one now. So we are going to put pre here. Okay. We missed one actually. So that's okay. We're gonna hide. So just to share with you, if you see some of the indicators only left 2, 3, 3, 2, okay, and then I have 2. But actually, there are more actually, but it's just that when I conducted the factor analysis in SPSS, the best components that I were able to retain are such like this, and along with their indicators, along with, in other words, along with their questionnaires. So yeah, so that's basically what I derived from my factor analysis in SPSS. I use principal component analysis. So now I've already bring this data into PLS, and in PLS3, you need to to run the measurement models. Run measurement models, okay, unlike the PLS2, you are using the normal PLS algorithms. But with PLS3, because of it will become more and more rigid as we move forward. Even now, if I put here, okay, we have the PLS algorithms, and then we have the consistent PLS algorithms. Like I've said to you, I'll share with you last week. Okay, you should use consistent PLS algorithms when you are running reflective models, the one that I have it here. But you gotta be careful, especially on your scale measures. Okay, scale measure means that all your items here, these are your questionnaires. Okay, the scale that you use, ideally, it should be consistently throughout. Okay, when I say consistently throughout, if you're using Likert scale, a 5-point Likert scale, ideally, or should be 5-point Likert scale. If you are, some of you probably using continuous scales, say 1 to 10 probably. Some, say for example, like here are using 5, here's using continuous, and then it would different, then it is more likely, well, you can always try consistent. I mean, it's still under the reflective and continuous still, okay, but it may not generate a good output or analysis due to the fact that it is not consistent. And therefore, in my models, because this innovation orientation, the question is here are not 5 like skills actually. So that's the reason why I came across why my consistent PLS algorithms doesn't come out what I want to be. Then I noticed that this could be the reason. This could be the reason again. Okay, I might be wrong, but I suspect, okay, most likely this could be the reason, because the questionnaire that I use under innovation orientation, I'm using a semantic differential scales with a 7-point, okay, scales. So because of that, okay, having some difficulty of factoring, okay. Both of them, okay, actually you can use factors. Say, for example, I show it to you here, okay. So I press, okay, the setups, okay. If you, okay, before we move on, are you all with me now? Because kind of sometimes kind of weird not speaking on my own, not knowing that whether you guys are with me or not. But are you all with me so far? Come on, speak up a bit. Just keep quiet there. Are you all with me now? Hello?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Yeah, you need to speak up again. Just keep quiet, because I tend to feel like, you know, yeah, I mean, regardless, it is my job actually. Regardless whether you are listening or not, it doesn't really matters, because you have the sole discretions to be in front of the computers or not, because it's online, because it's recorded anyway. It's recording anyway. But it is good, okay, once in a while that I have some interactive with the audience. All right, so that's the reason why I, just to get to know whether you guys are with me or not. Okay, you can always put in a chat, okay. Right, okay, so there's a, okay, calculate here, consistent PLS algorithms, okay, then we press that things. This is where it becomes so exciting for I'm not sure about you guys, but for those who really into research, this can be very exciting, because you really want to play around and like a game. Okay, so first you need to run factors. You still have to run factors. Okay, you can't just straight away goes to the path, because the path, it is actually for the second steps. The the first steps, it has to be factors. So you click factors, then here you connect all the LV for initial calculations. So you just have to click. Obviously, it's linked. It's already linked actually, but yeah. So here I close the calculation dialogs. I don't intend to see it, okay? But you can always opt for this open flow report. You should, okay? So that you'll be able to see what's the report look like, okay? But because I'm quite familiar with this, so I don't have to, but I think you do. So I'm just gonna click the close calculation dialogs, and then I'm just gonna click start. Then it will. Okay, so look at the result. Not available, not available, not availables. It doesn't come out what it's supposed to be. So, and even if you is adjusted, okay, we goes to R square. So there's no R square. Is it like, wow? Why is that? Okay, it is because of in PLS3, if you are actually using a complex model like this, okay, the PLS is assumed that there's too much this one, this are running here because of the arrows, and this another one is pointing to here. So the analysis got confused actually. In PLS3, we need to collapse this into making it into a single latent variables. Then only they are able. But this is not the case. This is not for today's workshop. That's not my intentions to show it to you. But it just wants to show to you that you may likely end up this kind of output or this kind of result. Like I said to you earlier, I use the consistent PLS algorithms with the assumptions that all the indicators are consistently using similar scales. But for this one, it's not. So it wasn't to be. The turnout not what it's supposed to be. So let's do the path, the normal PLS algorithms. Okay, see whether it turns out to be what we want. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, there you go. It turned out to be what we want. Let's see. Right. So now you see it. Okay. I can't use the consistent PLS algorithms because there are some violations in my data. So from here, we'll be able to see these are the loadings. These are the loadings. Okay, you can. These are all. If you look at here, okay, you can have a look at. Let's say go for the R square. So there you go. They are R square. They are all. It looks logically fine. There is no values that is more than or reaching 1 or more, because we know that R square, the maximum value will be 1, but it is almost unheard of to have a R square value of 1. If there's 1, then it's perfectly fit, which in the real world it will never happen. So it has to happen. In other words, if you know what is R square is the what is the percentage of the variance explained. So you are able to see is here. They all looks fine, and then we can look at the composite reliabilities. Okay, 0.8. This is wow. This is another one. This is not good. It's 0.244. That is the far below the threshold value. But if you look at the factor loading, you can easily know why the composite reliability are so low, because we have a negative 0.42, and then we have 0.969. That is almost 1, also not good. Just to share with you, if you are having loadings values that is almost to 1, that is also not good. Okay, it is almost perfect. Okay, it's almost perfect. Again, it could be the data. Okay, it could be the data. So that's the one that, okay, we have the 0.244. This is not good. We have the ID generations, both of their numbers. When you're actually having this loadings number 0.9595, it shows to you that the questionnaires, both questionnaires here, okay, they're almost the same. Even if you take off one, it doesn't really make any difference anyway, because the values tell us that they're almost similar. They're almost the same. So these are indications that when you have a vector loadings numbers that is 0.9, they're almost reaching to 1. Also, not really good. I'm not saying it's not accepted, but it is not good. All right, so that's the reason why we have this. Okay, this looks fine. This is 0.6, and we look at the loadings here. The pre-one is 0.075. 0.075, we already know that it is a very low loadings. What it's that tell us? It tells us that these questionnaires are far different from the pre-2 and pre-T. That is the interpretations of the result. This is far too different. Okay, almost not related. Okay, we should omit this. Okay, if you are having this kind of loadings number, you definitely needs to delete this indicators, throw them away. It's not belongs to pre-marketings. Okay, all right, so we have another one here. The food trends, it looks fine, looks nice. Technologies, well, there's another one. Okay, so let's put it a little bit more here so that we can see 0.102. It is always good that you actually look at all your values. Sometimes you may miss the numbers because of there's a word there, there's a label here. So here is 0.102, also very low. It almost shows that these two questionnaires, these two, they're not related. So in, let's say, let's look at the alpha values. Let's see, even the alpha is not reaching. What is that thing? What is alpha? Cromwell alpha. Cromwell alpha is inter-item consistency. It's a correlation actually, inter-item consistency. So it shows to us that these items, questionnaires or indicators, okay, are totally different from technology one. So we are going to omit this. We're going to omit this. Okay, so we're going to look at some others in here. Okay, there's another one here, MC6. Okay, MC6 has negative 0.195. Also very low. Okay, similar to what I have just explained to you earlier. That's how you actually interpret your data. Okay, it looks, so we're gonna omit M6, MC6, tag 2, pre-1, and then we have to look. Let's look at the innovation orientations. We have INO 2.02 is also low. INO 3 also low. We have INO 5 also low. You see, like I shared with you before, omit those factor loadings that is extremely low first. Then you run it again. Sometimes the loadings may go up, and then not necessarily you have to omit them after you omit certain items or certain indicators. So omit the most lowest one first. All right, so let's omit one. We omit this pre, okay. There you go. Remember, we have another one here. So that has to go for as well. Show pre-1. Then we're gonna hide it. All right. Then we're gonna run it again. That's how you do it. You omit one by one, then you run, then you run, then you run until you are completely satisfied that these are the ones that you want to retain before you actually run the structural models. All right. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Can not say one more time, but you're gonna do it several times. Remember, these are factors. These are factors. All right, so there you go. Okay, so the crumb alpha all still very low. Okay, this is quite low. This not really good. Okay, there's some violations there. Right, so just gonna do the cleansing. Okay, some of you probably knows that. So I'm just gonna go very quickly one. I know this is has to go. I know this one has to go. So I'm just gonna do it very fast. 1, 6. Okay. I do the deletions both at one time, but you should do it one by one. But to make it fast, I do it straight away. Then I do it again. All right. So there you go. The crumb alpha has gone up. This one, no, this is not. That's fine. Don't worry on that. Okay, let's just. Okay, what is the AV? See whether AV is good. So AV, they're all good except this. Okay, they're all good. Okay, the extracted, they're all above 0.5 AV. Okay, except this one, but this one is almost 5 anyway. So we can retain that. If you decided if you want to throw this, okay, you can. If you don't want, that's fine. But yeah, to be frank with you, okay, for your that models, those low values, okay, you have to throw it away. Okay, you can't just because if I bootstrap this, I know this would not be significant. All right, so let's look at the composite reliabilities. The composite reliabilities, they are all except this. So this, okay, except they all good. Okay, so composite reliability in comparison to crumb alpha is the inter-items correlations. Composite reliability is the they look overall as one, not one by one. So they are just looking at all this. Are they actually fit for this? Are they fit for this? Okay, so that is what composite reliability is. So if you look at down here, okay, there is the composite reliability is a CR. The value is not even reaching 0.7, the minimum thresholds. It shows that, but we can know that it's understood is 0.12. So if you were to delete, then we only have one indicators. All right, so we're gonna, what are you gonna do? So there you go, there you go, there you go. Here is any low. There's another one more low here, 0.2. This one we have to go. This one has to go, and this one has to go. So this proactive we're gonna have one indicators, and then this also have one indicators. All right, let's do it. Okay, so just gonna delete this. We're gonna delete this. And now we're gonna delete here as well. Tag one, where's tag one? Okay, that's the one. Yep. Now this tag two. All right. Okay, then we are going to hide this thing. And here we have, gonna delete the Pro 2. Now we have gonna delete this Pro 2 as well. All right. Now I'm gonna hide that. There you go. Okay, let's see whether it turned out to be acceptable result. Okay, I don't know. Okay, this is what you're gonna feel in with your research. You are hoping that your looks better, but surely it will look better, but they may have some problems, new problem pop-ups. Okay, but let's have a look, see how it goes. Okay, all right, and there you go. Okay, this will turn to 1. This is understood because you only have 1. So any one of you, okay, like I share this to my student, my PhD students, okay, to ensure that you don't just have left 1 indicators. If you left 1 indicators, then not to say that you can, but I mean it's doesn't looks, not say looks, but it also doesn't sounds you're well prepared, meanings that there's something wrong with your data, that it turned out to be only left 1. But again, Hayes again says that yes, you can. Okay, and so we're just gonna, for the sake of the examples that I have it here, I'm just gonna show it to you. But you should avoid as much as possible to have 1 indicators, to avoid as much as possible, because you never know, you see, you never know if you have very strict examiners. Examiner says that, well, the school of thought says like that, and he or she may not buying that, and end of the day is the examiner will decide the fate of your research work. If the examiner says that no, you can't, then there you go. Same thing if you send your articles to journals and the reviewer happens to be a strict one, okay, and then they say no, we're not going to accept that, then that's it. Then they're not going to accept that, then they're going to question you. Then how you going to do the remedies of your papers is another things. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Okay, after we do some some cleansings, okay, remedies, whatever you call it. Okay, right, so we have this. Is this the one that we're going to retain? All right, let's look at some of the reports. Okay, remember, we have not going to the second step yet. We are still in the first step, that is to ensure that your measurement models meet the minimum threshold values, okay, before you actually can regress your structural models. Okay, let's look at what are the things that we need to ensure that we meet them. Okay, now AVE, let's look at the AVE. Point 1, this one, no worry. All right, we've done it. Okay, yahoo. Okay, and then composite reliabilities. Yeah, okay, we have this one, don't worry, because we have 1 indicators. Okay, so for the time being, it looks good. Okay, so far it looks good. Okay, we go to Chromebook Alpha. We may not get what we want, especially on the pre-marketing. There's not much we can do. Okay, so this is an example that I would like to share with you. If you are experiencing this kind of problems, say, well, you talk to your supervisors that, well, one of my dimensions, the alpha values, the Chromebook alpha value is way below the minimum threshold. Okay, what's the number? Well, nearly to 4%. This is 0.391. If we round them up, it becomes 0.4. Well, okay. Well, have you done anything to increase? No, I can't. Why? I only have 2 items. So if you know what I'm talking about, okay, for those who don't, then you need to do a lot of readings to understand what you are doing. The combo after alpha is inter-item correlations. In SPSS, you can actually increase the value of your alpha values by deleting items, questionnaires, and hopefully that by deleting the questionnaire, the value will go up. But for our case here, we only have 2 items left. There's not much to do about it. We only have 2. So there's not much you can do. So if you are actually in this situation, and that's the reason why I share to my students that to ensure that your respond directly. What is that, Dr. Sida? Can't really get it, but yeah, prefer if you can respond directly. What does that means? Hello, Dr. Sida. What is that? Oh, you just left them. Okay, don't really get it. What is that? Okay, so yeah, so okay, Dr. Sita, what do you mean by that? I prefer if you can respond directly. I don't really get it. What you have that in mind? Maybe if you want to share with me what is that before we move on.
Sorry, doctor. I mean for my students.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, yeah. So okay, yeah. Let's yeah. So this is the one that I like to I always share to my students. If you get my points, okay, it is always that you know the stuff that you are doing it. There are some students. I'm not saying that you sometimes it is our own ignorance, we lack of readings, we lack of understandings, the reason behind it. So this is another good examples. Okay, you have a 0.39. Okay, so the question is, what are we gonna do with this? Okay, personally, okay, you can retain this because so far all the square r square is good. Okay, r square is even if a low r square, it's okay. Okay, just report that you have a minimal r square value. It's still acceptable. It doesn't have to be high. Okay, so r square is good. Okay, you can report the composite reliabilities overall because by looking at the alpha values 0.69, 0.8 something, it meets the CR, but not the alpha, the inter items. You still just make a report, put it in writing, acknowledge that, again, then your examiner will see it instead of just to throw them out. Okay, you can. Right, so we see these things. It looks, overall it looks, but let's look at the report. Okay, so the report, we need to look at the report. What are the things that we need to have a look at it? Okay, the auto loadings. Okay, auto loadings, you need to report the auto loadings if you are doing a PhD or any even an MBA or MHCM. You need to report the loading and cross loadings to ensure that all those loadings belongs to their respective. You see, so yeah, okay, you know what is loading and cross loadings. Okay, and then we goes to the construct validities. Okay, so this one we have already covered this. Okay, there are some issues on your pre-marketing. These are the 2 items. Okay, the first order construct, the second order construct. Okay, you don't have to worry. Okay, like concept developments, innovation, marketing orientations, and external environments. Okay, don't worry on that things because we in PLS we only look at the outer, okay, not the inside one. This 3, don't worry on this 3. We only worry on this, the out one. Okay. So let's look at the report. Okay, we meet that. Okay, composite. Okay, should be only this, the pre-marketings. Okay, there's some violations of the Chromebook alpha. You can stick, like I said to you, you can retain them, report the composite, and then just report on the Chromebook alpha into items. There's some slack in your data, but what to do? In real world, it bounds to happen like this. Should you redo it? I don't know. You make the judgment call. Okay, but sometimes that may not be the right way, because there are some instances where you are actually towards the end of your studies, you're rushing to complete your write-ups, and sometimes it pop up like this kind of result, and it can be very painful to accept. Yeah, there's no, I don't have the absolute answers, but it is always best to work with your supervisor, have a chat, get some second opinions, okay? Other academicians, see how it goes. But for me personally, retain it, okay? Just report that you have a low Chromebook alpha. There's a violations of inter-item correlation, but you still have the composite reliabilities, okay? Overall, all the 2 items, they are well fit within the pre-marketings, something like that. And then find references, okay? Cite the references to back it up your arguments, okay? So that it can support. If you don't have references to back it up, that is the one that examiner will shoot you. They will start to find your loopholes. You need to find references, and good references, the references that are well known to support that there are some studies with low Chromebook alpha, doesn't meet the minimum threshold, but the composite reliability has meet the above threshold value, and they have presented and it is accepted, published in journals. Something like that. You back it up your weaknesses, your limitation of your studies. All right. So let's look at the discriminant validities. Remember the convergent, we have done the convergent, we have settled that. Then we go to the discriminant validities. Okay, discriminant validities, we are looking into 2, the funnel locus criterions and the heteroids monoid ratios. Okay, these are the 2 ones. In the old days, we only cover the funnels, but now PLS3 and above, they want you to report the heteroid monoid ratio as well. Under the funnels locus criterions, okay, we use the diagonals values, that is the square roots of the AVE, is to ensure that none of them are violating the parameters. What does that mean? It means that the value should they should have no values here, no value here that is higher than the square root of the AVE. All right. So if you look at here, there is a concept element, but this concept element is the construct, is the main construct. So this one doesn't count, okay? Because we do have 3 latent variables with second order construct. So this one, not to worry about it. So the point down here is for you to understand the square root of the AVE has to be higher than those correlation values of the respective latent variables. Okay, that's it. That's what you need to know. You can have a look at it, you can check. Okay, you check. All right, so make sure. And then we have another one. Okay, let's look at this. All right, okay. All right, the HTMTs, okay, HTMT says that You can see all those red colors. Oh, when you see lots of red colors, meaning that there's a violations. It shows that it's reaching to 1 or it's already reached 1. The value has to be below 1. That is the parameters. So, all right, so the concept developments, you don't have to worry the concept developments because we are not that listed. Then we have the externals. Okay, don't worry on that. Okay, there you go, the concept developments, the pre-marketings. Okay, so yeah, there are some issue here. There's another one. Okay, so that's the reason why it says the smart PLS3, they become more rigid now. Okay, you need to ensure that you meet. The complex your model is, the more likely that you may not be able to meet the minimum threshold values. Okay, the one that we showed here. So what are you gonna do? Are we gonna stick with this? Well, liaise with your supervisor and see how it goes. Okay, or you can do some cleansing of your data, and hopefully it turn out to be all green colors, except with all these concept developments, environmentals, and then we have the marketing orientations. Okay, so yeah, they are not really bad actually, because some of those actually these are under the concept development, so it's fine. Okay, so we have a violation of this ones. Okay, market conditions. Okay, marketing orientation. Okay, so we have this, but this is not to worry about. Responsive. Okay, there's another one. Is nearly. I mean, they put down here 0.9 because it's nearly to 1. Same thing goes to this one. Okay, so there you go. All right, so marketing orientation, all this. Okay, don't worry on this. Is this under? But yeah, there's some violation on that things. Okay, 1 or 2 like that. So there you go. That's the real world. Okay, that you may end up a result like this. Okay, so I have no solution to that. Okay, but yeah, I already give you the minimum threshold on the parameters. So ensure that your data are within the acceptable values. Okay, then the final one. Okay, you can check on you can report the collinearity statistics. Okay, you can also don't look at the outer, you just go to the inner. So they all looks fine to me. Don't worry on this. Innovation orientation and marketing, they are above 1. So as long as this 1 is no value in all green color, it should be good enough. So you're not actually violating that. And then we goes to model fit, see how it goes. Like, I doubt it whether we're gonna get a model fit here. No, okay, model fit, you look at the estimated models. The SRMR, okay, and the value that you should, okay, you should have the threshold is 0.08. That's what Hayes wanted, but here we have already violated the model. Models is not fit at all. Even the NFI is not even have it. The chi-square not even show it. Okay, the infinite. So you may actually experiencing this kind of situations. So model fit, if you were not to report that because we are using PLS, that's fine. But again, like I shared with you earlier, examiners may want you to report it. If they ask you to report, you have to report. If it turn out to be like this, there you go. That is what SAM is. Just to share my experience with you. I've done Listrel before. Listrel is the covariance structural equation modeling. I've done with MS before, with other data. I was just not able to meet the first stage, that is the confirmatory factor analysis, and therefore I have to abandon my data, or I have to recollect back that something goes wrong there, the data is not good. There's some distort data. So it may turn out like this, okay, and hopefully that you guys come out with good models. All right, so we assume that it is good. So it is, if it's PLS2, it looks nice. If it's PLS2, it will look nice, just to let you know. But this is PLS3. There are some parameters that you need to meet. They have beautified the algorithms, and you just have no choice but to meet that. So I'm gonna save this so that I don't have to redraw it again. So I'm just gonna save all changes. Okay, I'm gonna retain this as it is. We assume that this is the one that we need to retain, and we are moving forward to run the structural models. All right, so we're going to save this projects. Save as save model as workshop. Okay, so we're not gonna put the PLS and let on your wall. So this should be good enough. Okay, so there you go, workshop 3. So this is the one. There you go. You see, we have this, and then it doesn't look okay. So then we have this workshop 3. All right. Okay. So I have that. So we're gonna do the moderating phase. Okay. So we're gonna omit this because we don't need the mediators. We're just gonna cover this one first. All right. Let's delete this. All right. And then delete this. Then delete this. Okay. And then it turned into blue. Okay. So moderating, we know that this is the linear relationship, and this is the linear one. This is the, so we want to know about what these things that innovations, orientations, okay, do influence the people who are conducting their product innovations, okay, and what are the orientations that actually, okay, all depends on the developers or the menu planners or the products. Those people who are make decision in product innovations. So the theory says that if you have managers, owners who are involved in product innovations and with the thinking more towards radicals, radical is to create new products, something that is not available in the market. Or you have managers that are not want to take risks. They will stick to their existing product, but they improve the products. They will not totally change their original products, the existing product, but they improve it. So we call that incremental innovations. So under here, innovation orientation in my semantic differential scale measure, I have both sides. Here is the incremental, and the right side is the radicals. So my respondents, again, the executive, directors, managers, owners of restaurants, okay, I want to know what is their propensity of innovations, product innovations, whether they are radical side or incremental side, which will actually decide what will be the concept that they're going to bring into the companies. So, but their decisions are very much moderated by the surrounding factors. What are they? The market condition. Market condition is how's the market look like? The consumer market look like? If the consumer market look like, say for example, they're in a city area, Klang Valley probably in Kuala Lumpur. Most of them have some educations and they like to try new stuff, new food. Then manager may want to be more on the radical side, you see. But say for example that you are actually developing product here in KK. Okay, most of the consumer here, well, I prefer to eat food that I'm very comfortable with. That's food that I know well, that I've tried before. So that's what the market condition is like. Okay, so that's what the theory is. And then technologies. Okay, are we going to incorporate technologies to our designing, developing the products, and so on? So that is what the external factor. External environmental factors that moderate the relationship between these two. So how to actually look at the moderating effect? So there's a button here, moderated effect. So I'm just going to click that. Okay, and see how. Content models. Okay, so all right, okay, just put it, click here, and then you can see the green one, right? Because this is the DV, this is your DV, right? So you're going to click there. We know that DV, okay, well, we have this concept developments, and then what are your moderators? So moderators, you put it here, there you go, and then your innovations here. So it's quite straightforward. Okay, and then we have these calculation methods. Okay, so which one are you actually looking at? I recommend for you to use the product indicators. Product indicators are this one. There you go. These are the indicators. These are the indicators. So they're gonna run all one by one, okay, and then all this one by one and see whether what are the interactive effect. That is what product indicators. Okay, as two-stage. Okay, two-stage is well, you can read on you can read here. There's two-stage values, blah 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 blah. You can actually read, but yeah, just use the product indicators. Here, use the standardized and weighting automatic. That's fine. Okay, so we stick with the stamp. What do you call the originals settings. Okay, we stick with the original settings. So normal, only the product indicators. We have done that. Okay, now we put it. Okay. There you go. It came out this. Okay, I'll just put it here. All right. So we can put it here. Let's put it here. Okay. These are the moderating effect. So, all right. So if we look at the, click on the right click and it wants to show the indicators. Look at the indicators. This is what we call the product indicators. So they check all one by one, all this. Make sure which are the one that actually, okay. So if you have using a two stages is just using the inner in the middle part, but we want it to be all. So if you look at here, there's an abstract. That is what we call interactive. Okay, if there's a node, there's interactive. So they check one by one interact. So it will be good. Okay, so you can make it bigger. Okay, moderating effect. Okay, moderating effect. 1. That's all. Okay. Then we're going to calculate. Okay. Just put it this way, is okay. If in your thesis, okay, it is good to run the PLS algorithm. If you have not consistent indicators using PLS algorithms, but if you have all throughout using similar same scale, use a consistent PLS algorithms, and it's reflective, use the one. Say for example, in this case, we're going to use the normal PLS algorithms. Okay, sorry, just gonna. All right, earlier we used factors. So now we actually no longer on the factors. We are using the path. Okay, we want to see the link. Okay, calculate to regress the links. Okay, so there you go. We're just gonna calculate. All right, so this is what you say. Copy this. If this is your or you satisfy, you agree, you like it so much. Wow, this is what I want. He says. Okay, make sure that you click. There you go. Then only you import this. Okay, all this. Okay, it will look nice. Put it in your thesis with all those numbers. Okay, you design them. Make sure that they are visible, easy to be read. Okay, so you just put it there. Okay, so once you have that, these are all beta values. These are path coefficient values. Okay, they call it beta value, standardized beta value. Remember, we click standardize. These are still loadings values, but inside here, these are the path coefficient values. Path coefficient values are, we also call them standardized beta values. Okay, by looking at, if you have done research before, you know beta value or the standardized coefficient values. By looking at the value, you already know, oh, it's significant. But to make it look nice, to make it looks confirmed, what we do is, okay, we're gonna bootstrap that things. Okay, partial list here, make sure that you use path. Okay, check. Okay, and then put it set up here. Here, all right, we are going to set up 1,000. I fully recommend to all of you the subsamples you make it into 1,000. And then here we open report. Okay, we're gonna put basic, put a complete bootstrapping. Okay, if you are using a bit old or outdated computers, it may take longer for to generate the result. But if you have good computers with good RAM and megahertz, okay, powerful enough, that should be okay. Here you can actually set whether you want to have like 95%. Just put it here, okay. MBA, MSCM will still accept if you are presenting 90% confident levels. Still, if you want to make it significant, we can accept that. But if you're PhD and master by research, you can stick with this 0.05. 0.05 meaning these are the P values. It's 95% confident levels. Okay, you stick with this and then have a look at the result. If most of the result are red colors, they are not significant. But by looking at the p-values, okay, some of them are still significant if it's 0.1, that is 90% no, confidence level. Set that thing into 0.1, 90%. It's still acceptable. We accept that. But if you're actually publishing, writing an article and then sending to a good journals, Q1, 2, 3, 4, Scopus or ISI, they may likely will not accept it. But again, if you put in your tables, you create the tables in your words, and you have your legend underneath, put your p-values of 0.001, extract, 2 extract, p-value equal to 0.05, and then 3 extract, p-value equal to 0.1. So it shows to you, you are actually telling the audience or the examiners that there are some relationship significant with 90% confidence level. Okay, you can do that. You can. Okay, and another one down here is that there's test type. Are you based on 2 tails or 1 tails? Moderating effect. Okay, there are some moderating effect. You are only look at one direction. Okay, if you only look at one direction, you should take 1 tail. 1 tail, if you are getting a t-value of 1.294, it will be significant. 2 tails, usually the minimum is 1.96, both sides. Okay, then only you get significant. Otherwise, if you get lower than that, you may not get significant. Okay, if you know what I'm talking about, if you know statistics, you read, your reading is good enough, then you are more likely know what I'm talking about. But for now, if you don't know, don't worry. Just stick with these normal parameters, then you are fine. Okay, so just gonna put a full report, then we are going to do the calculation, and that's it. You see, it will take longer, a little bit long, a while, because we are running with 1,000 subsamples. So there's a lot of work need to be done. So the computers, the software are running, do the calculation. So I'm just gonna wait for a while. So there you go. There you go. So what you need to do is you just have a look at here. The interaction effect. Okay. There you go. This is the moderating effect. No, it's not significant. Okay, so that's it, man. What you need to do is this moderating effect. So it's very easy. Using smart PLS, it's very easy. So this is the one that you need to have a look at it. Okay. Moderating effect is 0.197. So it is not, there is no moderating effect. Simple as that. Okay, so there you go, 1.29. This is the t-values. By looking at the t-values, as you can see, so it's not, okay, t-value 0.296, so it's not significant. There you go. Are we okay with that? You're done, D? Moderating effect, simple as that. So regardless whether you're significant or not significant, copy this thing. These are your evidence. Okay, it will look nice in your thesis. It will look nice. Okay, copy these things, and then you can copy this and then put that in the tables. So you have your diagram, this one, and then you have your summary of your diagram using tables in your in your thesis. So you look nice. These are p-values, statistics, okay, and this is your original sample, mean sample, so standard deviations, okay. So they're all there. It's just copy that, okay, and then Excel format, and then you can get it. So I'm not gonna show it to you in a copy to Excel. I don't. It's very easy, okay. As long as you the point down here is like I've said before. As long as you manage to get your measurement models went through successfully, then whatever the result of your structural model, you're just going to stick with it. So in this case, it's not significant, then it's not significant. Well, what can you say? You just report it, okay? So it doesn't have to be significant all the time, okay? Result doesn't have to be significant. If the result is not significant, then you interpret that the externals, okay, the externals environmental factors does not play roles on the original relationship. It does not moderate. It shows that innovations, okay, the propensity of whatever orientations of they follow will still remain as they don't really use the. Of course they use, okay. I mean, if we look down here, it's almost 80%. They do actually, but in statistics we only claim if it affect with 99%. Only okay. So in real world, okay, in realities, all those managers do look all these factors, but it's just that not up to 99% or 95%, not up to, probably somewhere around 80%. If you look at down here, yeah, but 0.9, almost to, yeah, somewhere around 90, yeah, somewhere around 80, 89, 88, like that, okay? But you don't have to report like that. But for sure, we know that it does have some effect, but not significant. Okay. Are we good so far? Are we good? Okay. Hello. Do we actually have audience here? Well, you can always look at the recording one. Okay, just let us continue. Okay, I'm not gonna bug you guys. Okay, yes, there you go, Alif. Alif is our staff here, so good to see you, Alif. Okay, all right. So we are not going to retain this. We are going to change another one. Looks okay. All right. So let's omit this. Are we gonna save this? No, we're not gonna save this. So I'm not gonna save this. So I'm just gonna open another one. This is an original one. All right. So I'm going to omit this. Okay. This you're gonna run the mediations analysis. So you're gonna keep this or a market orientation, but you're gonna throw away this environmental expense moderators. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, and then there's another one. Another one. And then the last one. Wow, okay, so it ran. So we are going to run the mediations. Okay, very easy, very bootstrap. Then we are the path. Okay, full report. Okay, we are there. Then we run them. There you go. So where do we want to look? We have to look at the indirect effect. See the final result here. Just look at the indirect effect. Okay. And again, this is the normal PLS algorithm. We are not bootstrapped yet, but you just have to look at the indirect effect. Well, okay, so there you go. Okay, copy this. You have to copy this, put that in your in your thesis, it will look nice. So we already know, okay, so all these figures, these are we're only interested on the middle one here. Yeah, this is the one that we really want to know. Okay, so you're gonna bootstrap it. This is the beta values. Okay, you're gonna bootstrap this, bootstrappings. Okay, basic complete. Okay, two tails. Okay, still partially square. We got path. Okay, it's all good. Okay, and then we run. Okay, there you go. Well, so let's look at the okay, the total indirect effect. All right, so this is a total indirect effect. You click that indirect effect and you see whether it's significant or not. Okay, which one that you want to look? No, the one that you need to look is innovations, orientations. There you go. Well, it's not, but it is almost. It's almost. If you are actually run with 90%. See, let's do it one more time. Like 2 or 90%. Okay. Then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's 1 0. Okay, we set this 1 0 and then we're gonna calculate it again. Because earlier we set 0.05, that is 95%. 95%. Let's have a look. Okay, so indirect effect. Okay, let's see if it's significant. Hopefully it does. Innovation is the concept. Yep, there you go. It's significant. So these are mediations. Okay, so innovation, the concept development. So this is the original. This is the total indirect. That's all you need to look. The rest you don't have to worry about the value. This is what you need to look. Okay, so it's 0.075, and that's the reason. If you set 0.05, it would not be significant because it's not reaching 95% confident levels. But if you set 90, yes, it is. So if you are MBA or MHCM, you can use this. If you're PhD, go and refer with your supervisor, see how it goes. Okay, I suppose there's nothing wrong actually, because it's you put that in your write-up as 90%. You're not manipulating the data, but you are just presenting your result up to 90%. In all days, 90% is considered significant. There's no issue. But as time passed through, most research accepted norm is to use a p-values of 0.001 and 0.05, not 0.1, no more. But yeah, you can actually if you want to, so it should be okay. All right. So there you go. So does we have a mediation? Yes, we do. Are we have full mediation or partial? So again, if you want to know if it's full mediations or partial, this is total indirect effect. So you just go back to the path coefficients, the original path. Then we have to look at the concept. No, it's 0.9. So the original one is not significant. So if it's not significant, what does that mean? It means that you have a full mediations. If you have the path coefficients, okay, significant, if it's significant, if say for example these are green colors. If it's significant, we are going to declare a report of partial mediations. All right, so here we have a full mediation, and that's it. We are done. Okay, let's if you okay, let's okay. So there you go. So I'm not gonna save this. Okay, I'm gonna do the spontaneous. Okay, let's delete this. No, we're gonna delete. Yep, everything is deleted. Okay, this is the original one. Okay, so this is the one that I like to share with you. Earlier we do it one by one. Okay, but in real world, okay, in realities, okay, all these factors, they are actually around. A manager we don't really know whether the managers are proactive, incrementals or radicals, regardless of the orientation or innovation orientations, are very much played or influenced by their market orientations. It happens the same time, not all the time, but they do consider marketing strategies, whether they want to be responsive, whether they want to be proactive, and at the same time, they do consider the environment as well before they will decide what product they want to embark. You see? So if you are actually doing a research with this kind of decisions, I mean, this kind of layout of framework or theoretical framework, it should be run at the same time, you see, because the factors need to be considered. These factors needs to be considered before you are making decisions of your concept, your product innovations. So let's do it. Okay, so we have the moderators. We are going to set the moderators again. Right, so EPA independent variable is innovation orientations. So look at now, okay, the good things about the PLS 3, you can actually use, you can play around, see, you can use this market orientation as a moderator as well. But again, I'm not saying that you should flip through your variables to make it moderator or mediator. No, that should be your theory, okay? That should be your theoretical understandings. If it's because moderators and mediators are two different things. They are not the same. Which you have to decide based on your readings. But for these examples, okay, we already chose, but this is the beauty of smart PLS. It becomes so handy nowadays that you can actually pick anyone. So if you have you want to test several, you can, okay, then it will appear okay. So I'm gonna put it product indicators as well, not the two-stage. All right. So moderators is here, independent here. So standardized, automatics. Okay, that's fine. All right. So we are going to run. So there you go. It shows here. Okay, it's already there. So you probably want to put a little bit here. So you look, I mean, you can design your diagrams to make it look presentable. So, okay, whatever it should be. Okay, so once here, I'm not gonna run the well, let's do it for the sake of for this workshops. Okay, let's run the normal PLS algorithms. Okay, you still remain as path, then calculate. Right. Okay, there you go. All right. Don't worry about whatever here. I mean, these are the table that you're gonna use it anyway. Okay, you're gonna bring it that. So let's have a look at it. So there you go. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. See, you have the figure here, but at the same time you have the wording. So try to make it adjust a bit so you will look, so your audience be able to see. Okay, this is how you make your diagram presentable. Okay, so here we make it smaller a bit. Okay, so you'll be able to see. So this the figures, this the figures. So your audience, your examiners are able to see it. Make your presentation of your diagram, your figures, your tables presentable, easy to be read. It's okay. That's my advice to all of you. Okay, so we already have here. So what we're gonna do is we just gonna run, see whether we have different result or not. If we run them individually, or would that make any difference anyway? When we run them simultaneously. Okay, so we bootstrap 1,000 path. Okay, we'll still stick with one. Okay, so let's run, see how it goes. Okay, it will take longer, much longer, because there's so much stuff that I needs to calculate. Let's hope that we get the result what we want. All right, we're finishing. There you go. All right, this is the path coefficients. Okay, let's look at the path coefficients first. This is the original one. Okay, the path coefficients. Okay, path coefficient. What we need to look is this one. Wow, it's not significant. Orientations to consider one. No, it doesn't really play significant values whether you are either you are radicals or not radicals. Well, it's not. It's 0.7. Wow. Okay, so what is the moderating effect? Okay, moderating effect also, no, it's not. Well, it shows that to us that if you run on its own moderating effect, it already knows that it's not significant. So when you actually make it into simultaneous with the marketing orientations, okay, it shows that no changes. It remains non-significant. Let's look at the total indirect effect. Let's see. See, the earlier we know it's significant, but now we want to know it's not significant. So it's not significant. It's nearly one, but it's not significant. So all of them are not significant. All right, so there you go. The results are not significant. Earlier, if we we run individual mediation analysis, it's significant. But when we run simultaneously, it's not significant. Okay, so yeah, so overall, when we look at it here, okay, it is not what it seems to be. Okay, yeah, that's the way it is. Okay. So there you go. We have done the moderation analysis, we have done the mediation analysis, and we've done the simultaneous analysis of both moderations and mediations. It appears that based on these studies, it appears that marketing orientations, when there is environmental effect, there is no mediations. But when there is no mediation environmental external environmental factors taking into consideration, marketing orientation does play a significant impact on concept development. It overpower innovations. So that's how you interpret your data. You see, another one which are not part of my workshops. Okay, just wants to show it to you. Okay, if you are doing a PhD, okay, you can actually run in a more simple, rigorous manner where you are able to see whether which are the one, if you were to omit this, just on the responsive side, put it here, okay? Because by looking at here, we know that this statistic, responsive, we know that the managers of this are very much on the consumer market orientation. We know that for sure by looking at this. And here also, we know that for sure, okay, the market condition play a huge part, okay, with regards to. So if you were to omit them, okay, one by one, and to look at their F square, okay, analysis, we'll be able to know which are the, whether they're substantials, medium, and so on. The mediations, the moderations, and the simultaneous of both analysis. My advice to you, if you actually have structural models such like this, it is good to use SEM. Okay, either you use MS or Pallets. Run them simultaneously. You will get a much accurate interpretation result, okay, findings, rather than to run them individually. So you may want to consider whether to use SPSS or use SEM. Okay, but run them individual, like I've showed to you. Report that in your findings, and then from there you make your interpretations. If there is both factors come into effect, this is what happened. If one is not to be considered, meaning that you omit them, for example, the moderating, but the mediations you have a 4 mediations, okay, and then that's how your interpretation is. That's how you discuss them. Of course, you have to look at the literature, and then from there you'll be able to digest more and then contribute to knowledge why such findings are like this. Okay, I think that's about it.